And there was no script to read. That was part of the gig. You could get the part, but then after you agreed to do everything, then they put you in a tiny room and allowed you to read the script for the first time.
What do you...
Well, here we go again. Another Star Wars idea killed before it even made it out of the Sarlacc pit. Adam Driver, who played Kylo Ren, the one idea that if you squint really hard and ignore most of what they did to him, had the potential to be a good character, just came out and revealed that he worked on a Kylo Ren standalone movie. And he did it not with some random streaming director or Lucasfilm intern who thinks story arcs are what Noah put the animals on. No, he worked on it with Steven bloody Soderbergh, a real filmmaker, a man who knows how to actually point a camera at people and tell a story. In an unexpected revelation that is already sending a ripple through the galaxy far, far away, Adam Driver has revealed that he spent 2 years developing a Star Wars film with Steven Soderbergh, a project that was ultimately shut down by Disney executives despite support from Lucasfilm leadership. 2 years. 2 years of planning, writing, developing, and Disney took one look at it and said, "Nah, we're good." Adam went on to explain just how serious he was about it. "I always was interested in doing another Star Wars," Driver revealed to the AP this week, reflecting on his time as Kylo Ren, the conflicted Sith heir introduced in 2015's, geez, that's a long time ago, The Force Awakens. "I'd been talking about doing another one since 2021. Kathleen Kennedy had reached out. I always said, with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second. I love the character, and I love playing him." Now, you've got to remember, Adam Driver said before, that Kylo Ren was originally meant to be the reverse Darth Vader story. Vader started out evil, and in the end he was good again. Kylo was meant to start being relatively good, and then heading down a dark path to become truly evil. What could have been an actual character arc, something with meaning, something Star Wars used to be pretty good at. We know this because we've already seen that story in the prequels with Anakin.
And I had an overall arc in mind that he wanted to do, which, then changed. But his idea was that almost the opposite journey of Vader, where Vader starts the most confident, the most, committed to the dark side. And by, the last movie, he's the most vulnerable and weak. And he wanted to start at the opposite, where this character was the most confused and vulnerable. And by the end of the 3 movies would be most committed to the dark side. So
Adam even admitted that the only way he survived filming the sequels was by pretending that the original idea of him turning evil was what was really going on, which, fair enough, I'd have to make up my own story too if I had to act opposite a zombie Palpatine.
I tried to keep that arc in mind, regardless if that wound up not being the journey anyway, because it changed, obviously, as we were shooting.
Yeah, right.
Right, but I was still kind of focused on that.
When did it change?
Well, with Ryan, he took it into a different direction, but still, it kind of still tracked with the character. Then the last one, it changed into being, about them and the dyad and things like that.
And then again, so you
and kind of evolving into Ben Solo. That was never part of it.
That wasn't either.
No.
Because
Ben Solo, he was Ben Solo from the beginning, but it wasn't. It was never a version where we actually see Ben Solo.
The biggest surprise with Adam Driver wanting to return to the role of Ben Solo is that Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm were on board. What a surprise! But let's be honest, at this point, Kathleen would be happy to try any idea. There hasn't been a film since 2019, and the next one hitting the screens is season 4 of The Mandalorian, a toy commercial posing as a movie. Kathleen would most likely greenlight a Star Wars musical starring Jar Jar Binks if it meant she could finally get a movie released. So who did say no to Adam Driver's idea? Wasn't Lucasfilm or Kennedy. No, it was king of the corporate blandness himself, Bob Iger. The film, titled The Hunt for Ben Solo, was conceived as a sequel exploring Ren's survival and spiritual reckoning. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool, Driver explained. We took it to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, and they said no, they didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive. What the fuck? What the hell are you talking about? This is Disney Star Wars. Their favourite Joker card is death-defying miracles. As we know, since Disney took over, we've had an old fat Boba Fett cheating death and crawling out of the Sarlacc pit after being eaten. Ahsoka came back from floating underwater for hours. Multiple people surviving being run through with lightsabers. Reva twice. We've had literal zombie stormtroopers brought back to life by witches, force healing, the Emperor somehow returning, and for the love of midichlorians, Rey literally died and came back to life. Death in Star Wars has become meaningless with Disney, yet Bob Iger can't see how Kylo Ren could still be alive.
Somehow,
Shut up, I can't hear that again. Out of all the characters, he would have been the easiest to bring back. His last scene was just laying down. A scene where the writers didn't even explain why or how he died. Somehow, the Jedi magic only has enough magicness to save one person at a time, even though magically, the two people can be alive at the same time long enough to kiss. Then, one of them has to go. The last we saw of Ben Solo, he wasn't vaporized or buried or given a Viking send-off. He just laid down. We didn't even see Rey do anything with his body. You could literally have him wake up in a cave with two people standing there in robes, and that would be enough. Some of Palpatine's workers who didn't get vaporized, or a couple of those dumbass witches. Some of the other students that left Luke's academy when Kylo did a runner. Fucking anyone. And that's 5 seconds of thinking. Soderbergh has been thinking about it for 2 years. I'm sure he came up with a pretty good explanation. This guy survived this. But somehow, Ben Solo couldn't survive this. Bob Iger, a man with the creative imagination of a tax return, decided that the Ben living idea didn't fit with the Disney vision. A vision that includes the Acolyte and Ahsoka. It's just beyond a joke now. Driver called the finished draft one of the coolest, expletive, can't have that, scripts I'd ever been part of. Soderbergh, in a brief statement to the AP, confirmed his participation and added in his own wry epilogue, "I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it." So, let's just get everything straight. One of the most respected directors in Hollywood wanted to make a smaller, character-driven, handmade Star Wars film, and Disney said no. But The Acolyte, yes please. Ahsoka Season 2, don't mind if I do. They greenlit multiple seasons of garbage, but when it comes to one of the few actors fans actually like, Bob says no. I'm guessing it had something to do with the terrifying concept of a white male lead. We wanted to be judicial about how to spend money and be economical with it, and do it for less than most, but in the same spirit of what those movies are, which is handmade and character-driven, Driver said. Empire Strikes Back being, in my opinion, the standard of what those movies were. But he is, to me, one of my favourite directors of all time. He lives his code, lives his ethics, doesn't compromise. So in other words, a thought-out good idea. Imagine that, a Star Wars movie that's economical, character-driven, and inspired by The Empire Strikes Back. Disney executives probably broke out in cold sores just hearing that. It would have been emergency soy lattes for everyone, just to calm everyone down. So now the hunt for Ben Solo joins the ever-growing list of what could have been in the Star Wars graveyard, right next to George's original sequel treatments, the cancelled Boba Fett movie, and every ounce of creativity the franchise once had. And in late-breaking news, we can add David Fincher to the list of directors that were going to make a Star Wars film.
You're fucking kidding me.
Only recently, Variety was reporting that Disney is trying to work out how to win back Gen Z men. The hunt for Ben Solo could have been a step in the right direction after the debacle of lesbian space witches and anus-powered space whales. So goodbye to the one idea that would have actually appealed to everyone, and you can now look forward to The Mandalorian and Grogu, the ongoing story of a neutered space babysitter and his frog puppet in their ongoing search for 2019 toy sales. And yes, of course, more Ahsoka, the slowest and most boring Jedi in the universe. Disney has never understood Star Wars. They have never understood its original appeal. So maybe it's for the best that Soderbergh and Driver never got to make The Hunt for Ben Solo, because, with Disney in charge, they'd found a way to make it terrible.